Hello and welcome to another episode of the Classical Republican, Idaho Politics Edition. Now, I wanted to do this after a critique of the political system of Idaho, but there are some interesting bills going through the State House right now. And I may also do a legislative review after the session is over. But there were some really interesting bills that I heard about and wanted to comment on as the Classical Republican. So, first up is S1280. Now, this is dyslexia early screening, and this is a very good bill. I'm very happy. They're making it more front and center. Already, there's dyslexia screening going on in schools in Idaho, of course, but this is really putting it front and center in education law. Now, so that's going through the Senate right now. We have HB 458. This is the minimum wage by jurisdiction. So you can have right now we have a state minimum wage, $7.25, I believe, and it is mandatory. You can't raise it higher anywhere else in the state, and so this bill it would allow counties and cities to raise the minimum wage if they wanted to. I doubt this is going to go anywhere. The state legislature really strongly seems to believe that all cities want to just tax their communities into oblivion, and so most of the revenue is handled at the state level. Okay, then going on to so let me comment as the Classical Republican, but so I believe that you should have greater sovereignty at the lower jurisdictional level. I think cities should have the right to make laws that impact their community, and so I support this bill. I'm not necessarily always pro higher minimum wage. I think you should have a union negotiating. If you have a really good environment for unions, then they can be responsible for raising the wages for workers. And so we should support union solidarity. Next on to HB 475, and this is the removal of the prohibition on militias. So right now, we have in Idaho Code, section Title 46, Section 8. You have the National Guard, but then you have organized militias and unorganized militias, and so you're supposed to be able to form a militia. They're still allowed, but you have to register with the Idaho Attorney General. So there is a process where you could have an alternative militia to the National Guard. However, this would be taking away or removing that process, and you could just have groups of people with firearms, and they don't need any regulation to get them organized. And so that would allow for groups like the 3%, the Proud Boys to operate legally in Idaho. So that's so you could have one outcome could be that you have a return of civic society. Civil society has been really damaged by the coronavirus, and so now you're going to have people who can gather and also carry firearms. So maybe that's an incentive for some people to gather and to do good for their communities. But then you could also have an alternative outcome where you just have bands of roving armed gangs, and they're legal. So that's one option. There's also a lot of bills concerning agriculture and education funding. I hope a few of those look really good, and I hope they get passed. I'll probably talk about them if they are passed at a legislative review. So, yeah, so I'm going to be talking more about about local politics, not just for the sake of talking about what's going on in my community, but for the sake of applying classically Republican principles in a local situation. And so I know I have a lot of international subscribers, and I love you all. And so so I would love to hear about your local situations too, and how you apply your politics and your ideology to those situations. So there will be a few more videos coming out. We are having an election coming up, and so we're going to talk about the classically Republican analysis of Idaho politics as it plays out. So, long live the Republic.